Welcome. I'm your host, Troy Hines, and this is another episode of META H.A.N.D.S Boxing. If you could be so kind, hit the like button, the bell icon, and follow us here on YouTube, as you're going to see some amazing upcoming shows, predictions, analyses, and fighter interviews. Let's get into it. So, Happy New Year to everybody. It is 2024, and we have gotten off with a bang. If everybody saw that fight last night with Artur Beterbiev versus Callum Smith. Not even going to really get into that because I really want to pivot to the META H.A.N.D.S Boxing 2024 pound for pound list. Everybody has their opinions. Everybody thinks they're right. God damn it, I don't care. This is our list. And we stand on it. So let's get into this list real quick and who we have on our list. And feel free to, comment, like, subscribe. Tell me what you agree with. Tell me what you don't agree with. We want to hear from the fans of the sport of boxing. So let's just jump into this pound for pound list right here. The META H.A.N.D.S Boxing 2024 pound for pound list. At number 10, Errol Spence Jr. We make no bones about it. The Southpaw, the truth. We know what happened last year, coming off the biggest loss, the only loss of his career. But of course, when you weigh that against the fact that it's against Terrence Bud Crawford, someone who is special, the number one fighter in the world right now. Let me just throw that out there. So we still have respect for Errol Spence Jr. We wish him well. We hope that he comes back after the eye surgery that he's just had, after everything that he's been through, and even his admission that he has not really taken the sport in terms of nutrition and what he's putting in his body, and even especially when you're not preparing for a fight. What are you doing with your body? I think that hopefully he can come back and show a good showing of himself. We make no bones about it. We are Errol Spence Jr. fans. So shout out to EJ and his camp. At number 9, we've got Shakur Stevenson. We think the world of this kid. We all know, of course, in his last showing, it wasn't that impressive. And even though he doesn't want to give excuses, we know that he was not 100% himself when he fought Edwin De Los Santos. But that being said, the casual fans, we know they have a lot to do with your pay-per-view numbers and how people watch you and how people judge you and basically how you can go after that bag. So regardless of what the fanatics like ourselves in terms of the sport of boxing feel, I'm sure Shakur realizes he's going to have a much more dynamic showing in his next fight to win back over some of those fans that may be overlooking him right now. But we know what we see in Shakur Stevenson. We see a defensive master, someone who knows how to master distance, someone who has flashes of brilliance like Floyd Mayweather. He reminds me a little bit of even Pernell Whitaker. We just want to see Shakur Stevenson give the best showing of himself. But I think given his age and what he's accomplished so far at the age of 26, he right now is deserving to be number 9 on our pound for pound list. Coming in at number 8, Abdul Wahid, formerly known as Gervonta Davis. Yes, we have the brother at number 8. Shout out to Gervonta Davis, aka Abdul Wahid. We respect it. We always, especially as an older gentleman myself, whenever I see a young brother doing anything to better himself and in terms of converting to Islam, respect to that brother. Alhamdulillah, inshallah, we will see him in some amazing fights coming this year. And like most of us, we really want to see a step up in class of fighters that he's fighting, although we understand When you are the man in terms of pay-per-view buys, in terms of the eye test, and everyone has love for Tank Davis because the excitement that he brings, we understand very well why he's in the position that he's in. But that being said, we look forward to seeing Abdul Wahid have some step-up fights and step up and fight some of the best in and around the 135-pound and 140-pound weight class. Moving on, when we're looking at number 7, David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, El Bandera Roja. That man right there, he's a problem for anybody. We realized what we saw when we saw him dismantle Demetrius Andrade. I really felt that Andrade was going to put on a much better showing in that fight between the Andrade fight, between the Caleb Plant fight. We have seen David Benavidez get better and better. And with that long frame that he has, that 74.5-inch reach at 6'2", he looks sometimes 6'3", throwing punches and bunches, never getting tired, throwing combinations that seem unorthodox at times. He is going to be a tough out for anybody. So we look forward to the best fights by David Benavidez, and that's why we have the brother at number 7. At number 6, we have Saul Canelo Alvarez. I mean, what do we need to say about Canelo? He has been or had been the face of boxing for a very long time. But I think it is obvious that he is starting to slide just a little bit. But we have to give him his respect. Of course, in his dismantling of Jermell Charlo, everything that he's done in the past in terms of his Golovkin trilogy, his defeat of Caleb Plant, Caleb Smith even fights when I go back and think about him against Daniel Jacobs. He has given us some great fights. That being said, we need to see him step up in class. Just being a straight shooter, I'm not interested in seeing him fight John Ryder. I'm not even really interested in the Jaime Munguia fight as much. We need to see him fight David Benavidez. But all that being said, respect to Canelo Alvarez, everything that he's accomplished in the sport. I do think he's done enough. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Respect to him because of everything that he's done in the sport. We still have him on our pound for pound list at number 6. When you get to number 5, I've got Dimitri Bivol, the man who gave an impressive loss to the man we were just speaking about in terms of Canelo Alvarez. Bivol is a tough out for anyone as well. The Russian in the orthodox stance, he's 6 foot, he has a 72-inch reach. He has one of the best jabs in boxing. He can come forward, he can fight on the back foot. He is just a very dynamic fighter, and he packs a hell of a punch. All of that being said, in his last fight against Lyndon Arthur, he did not seem to be the fighter that we have seen in the past. Maybe it's because sometimes you fight down to the level of your competition, but what I saw of Dimitri Bivol in his last fight, I thought he should have been able to dismantle and get rid of Lyndon Arthur when he fought at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, but he did not. All that being said, he is one of the most dynamic fighters in the boxing business right now, and that's why we have him so high, and we have him at number 5 right now. When we go to number 4, we've got the Dream, Devin Haney. We make no bones about it. We have been fans of Devin Haney for a very long time. I always said when the smoke cleared at 135 pounds, of course we know he's at 140 pounds right now, but we felt that when the smoke cleared, Devin Haney was going to be the man on top. And right now, in our eyes, buys, not looking at pay-per-view buys, not looking at things of that nature, but just looking at the skill set. When you're looking at a complete fighter, someone who can fight on the back foot, someone who understands and has mastery of the jab, somebody who can, he puts it all together, whether he's, everything that he does, it seems that in every fight, he gets better and better and better. And when he fought Regis Prograis, I saw a transformation, just like many of you saw a transformation, that was like, wow, this guy is a bona fide superstar right now. Hats off to Devin Haney. Hats off to his father, Bill Haney. Inshallah, we see some amazing fights this year. He is deserving of that. I'm hoping that we can finally get him in the ring with his now Muslim brother, Abdul Wahid. That would be an amazing fight. So I am definitely looking forward to them meeting in the ring. And again, from what we see in terms of the eye test, that is why we have him so high at number 4. At number 3, Artur Beterbiev. 20 victories, 20 knockouts, no defeats. Artur Beterbiev is not spoken about enough. And I don't know what's in the water, in that Chechen water, but I'm telling you, if I had to say 2 words about Artur Beterbiev, he's different. He's different. Don't just think he's a flat-footed fighter that just comes forward. I like the way that he resets. He understands when he needs to move his feet just to reset his offense. Of course, he does his best work coming forward, but he's a thinker. You can see him strategically when he just fought against Caleb Smith. It was a clinic. He dissected what Caleb Smith does best, took away that left hook, and eventually poured it on in a fashion that was unreal. And one of the things that people have to think about, and I know many people have Bivol ranked over Beterbiev, but let me make this point. And people look at Beterbiev and people look at Bivol, and you think about their body types and you say, well, I think Bivol is longer. You need to go back to the books. Beterbiev has a 73-inch reach. And I believe Dmitry Bivol has a 72-inch reach, although he has the height advantage. Dmitry Bivol being 6 feet, and of course Artur Beterbiev being 5'11 and a half, only by a smidgen. All of that being said, in terms of the heavy hands, in terms of what he brings to the table, Artur Beterbiev is a problem for anybody in the light heavyweight division. And I'll even say this, before it's all said and done, I would love to see him fight Usyk in the heavyweight division. And all that being said, people that are looking for Usyk to be on this list, I do not have any heavyweights on this list. So that is why you will not see Usyk on this list, even though, yes, in terms of skill set, in terms of things that he does, we have a lot of respect for the Ukrainian Alexander Usyk. But in terms of this list, our number 2 is Artur Beterbiev. We are truly looking forward to that fight against him versus Bivol. And we will probably do a prediction vid in the future when that fight gets a little bit closer. Excuse me, having him at number 3. Okay. Number 2, Naoya Inoue. Man, the monster. This guy, we already know, 2-time undisputed in his weight class. People are already making comparisons when you're trying to say, hey, if you could see him versus an early Manny Pacquiao at that weight class, who would win? I'm going to tell you right now, folks, I think Inoue at super bantamweight, he beats Manny Pacquiao, who at that time in his career only had the left hand. Inoue already understands distance. He already sees things and is able to punch with both hands and has knockout power in both hands, and is just, to me, a much more complete fighter than Manny Pacquiao was at that stage in his career. So when we are looking at this guy, when he dismantled Marlon Tapales, of course, what he's done in the past against Stephen Fulton, and we were high on Stephen Fulton, and he made mincemeat out of the brother, and what he's done, and of course in his fight against Nonito Donaire, again, the two fights that he had with Nonito, we just have to respect his skill set, and the fact that Naoya Inoue is just an amazing fighter, and we are looking forward to seeing more from him. And all that being said, when it comes to our number one pound for pound list, the META H.A.N.D.S Boxing 2004 pound for pound list, make no mistake, and it should be of, no surprise. Terrence Bud Crawford, 100%, in our opinion, is the best fighter in the world right now. And we are excited to see what's going to happen. We may not see the Errol Spence fight a second time, to be completely honest. And again, I'm a big fan of Errol Spence. I don't really believe we need to see that fight again. I think the better fighter won the fight. And I think based on the health of Errol Spence Jr. and where he is right now, I would not want to see him get back in the ring so soon with Terrence Crawford. If they were to fight again, I would like to see Errol Spence Jr. have one or even two tune-up fights to get ready for someone as dynamic as Terrence Crawford. But all that being said, right now, our pound for pound king is Terrence Bud Crawford at 40 knockouts. 40 wins, 31 knockouts. That man is absolutely amazing. He is truly just special. I mean, what can you say about the guy? Someone who was counted out many times, who doesn't probably get the credit that he deserves. I know that keeps a chip on his shoulder, especially when people don't give him that credit, which honestly is probably one of the reasons why he is as good as he is, aside from the fact that he takes care of his body, that he's a gym rat, that he loves the sport of boxing, and he is an expert. He is at the top of his game, and you definitely, now it's about that conversation of where does he rank in terms of when you're looking at someone like him and you're looking at the top guys in the history of the welterweight division. So all of that being said, that's all I got. This is Troy Hines. This is META H.A.N.D.S Boxing. Stick and move.